Hi there, and welcome to the Salt and Pepper, where we cook for real life, using real food, and we keep it real simple. And today we're gonna make Carne Asada Street Tacos in the Ninja Foodi. This is a super easy, super quick recipe, and it tastes delicious. So let's get started. So the first thing we're gonna do is get our spice blend together. And I really recommend that you use this spice blend. It imparts such a wonderful flavor into the meat. And what we have here is 2 teaspoons of sea salt, 2 teaspoons of cumin, 2 teaspoons of smoked paprika, 1 teaspoon of garlic powder, 1 teaspoon of onion powder, and 1/4 teaspoon of chipotle powder. And the reason why we want to use the smoked paprika instead of regular paprika is because we're actually not going to grill this. And I know, carne asada means grilled meat. I get that. But it just didn't turn out as delicious as when I pressure cooked it. And it's so much quicker too. You're going to love it, so definitely stick around. So this goes into a little baggie. And then we're going to get our meat cut up. And you want to get about 1.5 pounds of skirt steak. You could use sirloin for this. You could use what they label as London broil in the grocery stores. That would be fine as well. It's not actually a cut of meat though, it's a preparation, but it's a similar preparation of what we're gonna do here. So that would work fine. Whatever you can find. These are less expensive cuts of meat and they work great as long as you follow one main rule, and that is to cut the meat against the grain. And here we have the grain going this way. Now, I don't know about you, but me, if I was gonna cut this and I couldn't see where the grain was, I would just start taking my knife and slicing it this way. But you're gonna end up with a really chewy, it'll be flavorful, but it'll be very, very chewy and not very appetizing to eat, especially in a taco where you want it to be soft and not real stringy and chewy. So what we need to do is cut the meat in half or even in thirds. You could do it in thirds. I think that's what I'm gonna do. Might even do it in fourths. Okay, so now we have these little pieces that we can turn to the side and we can start to thinly slice. Now I have a pretty sharp knife, so this goes pretty easily for me. If you want, you can freeze the meat for about an hour. That'll just kind of firm it up, and sometimes it makes it a little bit easier to get the thin slices that you want. So we're just gonna go through and just thinly slice. And I mean, these are not super, super thin like I do in some of my other recipes. These are about 1/4 inch. All right, perfect. So we're gonna do that for the rest of the steak. And then we're gonna get it into the little baggie with the spices. And then we're just gonna put a little bit of a marinade and we're gonna let it sit for 30 minutes. Or you could let it sit overnight. That would be fine as well. All right, perfect. All right, so now I'm just gonna mix this up with the dry spices just to get them coated on the meat. And then we're gonna squeeze some orange and lime juice along with an ancho chili that I have here that they're dry. And I found them actually at the Aldi. And this is an optional ingredient, but it really adds a nice flavor and a nice spice. But it's not super spicy, so don't worry about that. It's not like where you need a glass of milk and a piece of bread to put the fire out. It's nothing like that. It's just a nice, flavorful carne asada marinade. And I'm just gonna throw it right in. No need to do anything with it. Just throw it right in. All right, so let me just clean up here and then we're gonna get to squeezing our orange juice. All right, so what we're gonna do is use some fresh oranges. Now you could use, store-bought orange juice as well, but I think there's just something added when you just use fresh orange juice. So I'm gonna use my Pampered Chef juicer, which I absolutely love. And it's great for lemons and limes, but it's also really good for oranges and grapefruits. You get so much juice when you use this. It's just amazing to me. And I've had this, I know, 20 years. It's a workhorse. I mean, It's just simply fantastic. I mean, really. Look how easy it works. You just squeeze, and it does not take a lot of effort at all. Whoops. You don't usually do that though. There's little holes here at the bottom that'll catch the seeds. Now these oranges don't seem to have any, but if your lemons do, it's really great. So usually to get a cup of orange juice, it'll be 1 to 1.5 oranges, depending on how much juice they're going to provide. Now, if you are finding that your oranges are a little on the dry side, you can always heat them up in the microwave for about 15 seconds, and that'll get the juices going. Or you can roll them on a cutting board. This works, I think, a little bit better with lemons and limes, though, but you could definitely give that a shot as well. All right, so let's see. We have about 1/8 of a cup there. All right, there's 1/2 of a cup. And then we need just 1/4 cup of lime juice, which will probably be this whole lime. Except for if you want to use a little bit of it for garnish, just go ahead and cut a little bit off. You'll be fine. Because some people like to put some lime juice on their carne asada street tacos. This does such a great job. I just absolutely love it. All right, perfect. That is all we need. Now we're going to dump that in also with some garlic, which I have about 1/2 tablespoon, which is about 4 to 5 cloves of garlic. I know a lot of people get the pre-minced kind of garlic, and that's okay, but it just doesn't have the flavor that the fresh garlic does. So if you grab a bulb and you have a little garlic press, it couldn't be easier. You don't even have to peel it. You just put this in and squeeze. And it comes out. It's so wonderful, and it's fresh. And you know how I love garlic, whether it's roasted or minced. I love garlic. All right, so we're going to add that in with our orange and lime juice. And then we have some cilantro here, which this is 1 bunch of cilantro, which will definitely do the trick. Now, a lot of people discard the stems of the cilantro. I don't, especially if I'm using it in a marinade. I use the stems. I'll just cut off the very bottom part and then put those in the compost pile. And then I'll just start chopping because the stems have just as much flavor. And what I like to do is if I'm going to have a cup of cilantro, which is what we're going to use for this marinade, I want to have the leaves left over to actually put on the tacos. So this makes it perfect, and you can get much more out of 1 bunch of the cilantro. So just throw that in. We'll give it a mix. Oh, the smells. I had to stop myself because I can just smell it so wonderful. Now, if you don't like cilantro, you can leave it out. But, oh my goodness, if you like it, put it in. It makes a world of difference. There are some people that just can't tolerate cilantro at all. I'm so glad I'm not one of those people. Apparently, it tastes really horrible to certain people. All right, so let's get it mixed up really, really well. Get the garlic distributed, and then we're just gonna let it sit. You can let it sit at room temperature for 30 minutes, or you can put it in the refrigerator for 4 hours or overnight. The skirt steak's been marinating for 30 minutes, and we are ready to put it under pressure. Oh my gosh, it smells amazing. I mean, it's wonderful. So we're gonna go ahead and dump that in. Make sure that you put the juice in with it. And that pepper goes in there as well. 1 cup of beef stock. Pressure lid on. Make sure the black valve is to the seal. We're gonna turn the Ninja Foodi on. We're gonna go to high pressure, and we're gonna do 10 minutes. So it's gonna go under pressure for 10 minutes. It's probably only gonna take about 5, maybe 8 minutes to come up to pressure. And then we will do a 10-minute natural release after that, just so that we don't suck the moisture back out of the beef that's in there. So in about 25 minutes, we're gonna be eating carne asada street tacos. So the pot came to pressure very quickly, like it took maybe 4 or 5 minutes tops. And then we've been under pressure for 10 minutes, and now we are about to hit the 10-minute mark for the natural release. And then I'm gonna immediately release the pressure, and we're gonna get our corn tortillas heated up, and we're gonna be eating. All right, the red button depressed so we can open up the lid. Make sure to do this away from you because it is going to be steamy. And now we're gonna just give this a little stir. The smell is just absolutely amazing. Oh my gosh, it smells so good. But we still have to heat up our corn tortillas because if you tried to use them right now, they would probably break apart and it wouldn't be too easy to eat these. So we're gonna go ahead and warm them up. You can leave the carne asada mixture right in the pot. That's not gonna make any difference. These are not gonna be crunchy, but they are gonna get warmed and just a little bit firmer, easier to eat. So the way to do that is to gently fold them in half. If you fold them in half like with a crease, they're going to crack. So you just wanna gently fold them in half, and you're gonna lay them over 2 of the racks there. And I try to get them so that they're sort of in the center, just so that when the fan blows, it doesn't fall over and they don't fall into the mix. So I'm just gonna do that. I'm gonna make 4. Now, traditionally, and see, I just did what I told you guys not to do. I creased it. And if you crease it, this is what happens because they're not warmed up. So let's just get another one here. Perfect. And get it over there. All right. Now, there's no need to preheat. Normally, if we go under broil, bake, roast, or any of those functions that use the tender crisp lid, we usually preheat the Ninja Foodi. We don't need to do that. We're just gonna hit the broil, and we're gonna take the time to 3 minutes. And hit start. All right, I'll do these in a second batch. You can only do 4 of those at a time, just because if you run out of the area on the rack. Now, you could stack them and just warm them up that way, but I like doing it this way because they'll actually hold their shape, and it just makes it a little bit easier to eat. Now, traditionally, a street taco is actually 2 tortillas folded, stuffed, and held together, 2 of them. I'm not gonna do it that way just because I don't need the extra carbs. I'm at home, I'm not walking down the street. It doesn't matter, I've got a plate, so I'm just gonna do 1. But if you wanted to double up, because that is the traditional way to do it, feel free. So the last thing that we do here just to get ready is just cut up some cilantro. And I'm just gonna roughly chop this. There's no right way or wrong way, just don't cut your fingers. So we've got our chopped cilantro. We have some white onion. We have some, this is queso fresco cheese that I crumbled up. I would definitely recommend using cotija cheese. I think it has a better flavor personally, but I couldn't find it, so I could find the queso fresco, and it'll do the same thing. And then we have some radishes, and those are basically the toppings for a street taco. Now, you don't have to use the radishes if you don't like to. You can put anything on. You can put salsa, you can put some mango, you can put tomato, you can do it. It's your taco. You can do anything you want with it. But this is traditional. It's very simple. There's no like shredded Mexican cheese or anything like that. It's very simple. I'm so excited. All right, so it'll go through the cool, and that lasts just a second or so. And then we will lift the lid. Perfect. Oops, one of mine fell down. And you know, I know why this is. It's because these are a little bit on the older side, but that's okay. We're gonna roll with it. Things happen. Just gonna pick that out there and slide over there. Things happen. probably a pretty delicious piece right there too because it's got all that great juice. All right, now I'm wondering if I should do 2 at a time. No. Yeah, you know what? See, there's a hole in it. This is why they do 2. There's a hole in it so the juice would come out. So I'm gonna go ahead and double up, and that's why they do it. All right, so let's get some of the meat. Make sure, now you don't want to bring out a whole lot of the juice or anything. I mean, a little bit's fine, but you don't want a whole lot. So I'm just gonna put some meat in here. I'm telling you, it smells so good. Some onions. Let's see, let's put some radishes in there. Some cilantro, and then top it with that cheese. Wow. Oops. Perfect. All right, here we go. Carne Asada Street Tacos. Let's see. The tortillas feel wonderful. Now you could go a little bit longer probably than the 3 minutes, but you want them soft. You don't want them crunchy. All right, here we go. Wow. That is super delicious. The meat is so tender. It is just like falling apart. Wow. The flavor's outstanding. The only thing I miss, I would like some mango on mine. I don't know. I like a little spicy and a little sweet, but this is delicious. I mean, the meat is not spicy like, oh my gosh, my mouth's on fire. It's not like that at all. It's a very, very smooth heat. It's absolutely delicious. I'm gonna get one more bite here because I did not really get a good bit of the meat in the last bite. That is good. I'm not a fan of the double. To me, it's too much corn tortilla. I definitely just like the single, but I understand why they do it, especially if you have a hole in one. I understand that totally. All right, this is a delicious recipe. It's quick and easy. It uses fresh ingredients. You can make it at home and you're gonna feel like you are at one of those food carts getting a street taco. So definitely give it a try. So this recipe was suggested by one of you guys, and I love when that happens. Like, I put those as priority because I'm making these recipes for you. So please, if you have a recipe idea, leave me a comment below and I'll be sure to start working on it.